And that takes us to our fourth story tonight, because the geopolitical fight, it is now spilling directly into the politics of Gaza. Well, the relationship between Washington and Jerusalem, it is supposed to be one of America's strongest strategic partners. But now, reports suggest that tensions have grown over the future of Gaza. At the center of this whole dispute is, again, Mr. Trump's Gaza roadmap. According to Israeli media reports, Jared Kushner confronted Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu over resistance to parts of the plan. Well, the reported messages blunt. You are throwing a wrench into the plan. This is striking accusation, because this isn't simply disagreement over wordings. The disagreement goes to the heart of what happens after the fighting. What happens to Israeli forces? Who governs Gaza? What happens to Hamas? And what does the territory looks like when the war ends? Well, Mr. Netanyahu's position has reportedly remained very firm on one central issue. Israel should not withdraw before Hamas is fully disarmed. In the meantime, the Trump administration has been pushing a broader roadmap that kind of includes changes to Israeli military presence and future governance arrangement. And this creates a very difficult situation. Washington wants a plan that could eventually lead towards a political settlement. Mr. Netanyahu wants security guarantees before giving up military leverage. And Hamas remains at the center of the conflict. So, even among the allies, the definition of peace, that is different. For one side, peace means withdrawal and political transition. For another, peace means disarmament and security first. And until those definitions overlap, a roadmap on paper can remain just that, a roadmap on paper. But yes, while Washington is dealing with pressure from its allies, the American president himself has been at the center of an extraordinary security story. And the story may sound almost like a spy thriller. Look at the map of West Asia. You will see the Persian Gulf. And at its entrance, you will see a narrow passage connecting to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Strait of Hormuz. It is narrow, but strategically it is very important. Because in normal times, a huge share of world's oil and gas passes through this waterway only. And now the US says more than 20 American warships remain deployed across the West Asia as part of a military operation, including enforcement of the US blockade against Iran. According to the US Central Command statement, cited in the reports, American forces had redirected 55 commercial vessels, disabled 2 and boarded 2. That is not simply military signaling, by the way. This is interference with commercial shipping, and that is why the world is watching, because every ship that changes course can affect the price of energy. Every delay can increase insurance cost. Every disruption can increase freight cost. And every additional day of uncertainty can make companies nervous. But Iran is making its own demand. Iran says Strait will not reopen unless the US meets several conditions: compensation, an end to sanction, and an end to military threats with removal of naval blockade and the release of frozen Iranian assets. Well, Iran is also working on arrangements for alternative shipping lanes with Oman, and this is according to the reports. But there is another complication here. The US and Iran, they are not directly negotiating. Messages are being exchanged through intermediaries. Mr. Trump has described the situation as only semi-negotiating, and that phrase tells you everything. There is communication, but there is no full diplomatic breakthrough. There are discussions, but there is still military pressure. There are messages, but there is no final agreement. And in the middle sits Hormuz. Now think what that means for the average person here. You may never have heard of Strait of Hormuz before this conflict. But if you drive a car, fly on an aircraft, run a factory, maybe work for a tech company, invest in stocks, depend on global trade, Hormuz matters to you. Because energy moves through it. And when energy becomes expensive, almost everything becomes more expensive. Transport, manufacturing, air travel, data centers, food, logistics, everything.